ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by LSU's Christian LaCouture. We have only about 10 minutes in this room, so we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions. Who would like to go first? Front row here on the left side.
Christian, Arden's a guy that's gotten the flash what he can do the first couple of years. What have you seen from him going from year 2 to 3 that leads you to believe he could have a pretty huge year?
Well, he's been a guy that's always been very mature. He's a guy that carries himself, in a fashion that he knows that he's a very lengthy, freakish talent, and, he works his tail off. And I really feel like going into this year, he's put a lot of time into the weight room to understand that this could, potentially be his last year. We don't know. But, what he brings to the table, how he goes off the edge, I don't know a lot of people that can do.
Right side, third row.
Having seen them both up close and in person, how would you compare Darius Guice to Fournette?
Well, I think, you guys saw last year, having those two back there are special. And, it's probably once in a lifetime. But, with Leonard, I feel like he's a guy that's more of a bigger back, a bruiser that can go up through the middle. I also feel like Darius can do that as well, but I think Darius can go out, and catch some more balls than probably Leonard can. Both of them are very well, but I think, Darius being a smaller guy, more stockier, I think he's a guy that can probably do that more. But I think both those guys run and cut, inside, outside, for a running back, that's what you want to see.
Left side here, front row.
Hey, Christian Beardsley with CBS. I guess two totally unrelated questions. First, you've had Dave Aranda for over a year now. What is watching film with him like? Because from all accounts, he is as intimate and detailed with his film watching as anybody out there. And then secondly, from your perspective, how has Danny Etling progressed as a quarterback?
Well, for your first question, I think Dave Aranda is a guy that you want to pick his brain because, going in and out, he's a guy that you guys saw last year. Whatever the team might be, different schemes or not, he's a guy that will make sure when we go out there every week, we're ready to go. And just watching him, going up there extra time, sitting with him in the summer or the spring, during spring ball, whatever it might be, and just watching what he watches and how he sees it, it's something like you don't have to work out, you don't have to do anything like that. You can still get better during that day if you do something like that. We're so happy to have him on our staff and, to play for him. For the second question with Danny, Danny's a guy that, the whole summer he's been running, he's been doing everything. There's been no limitations. When we do our defensive line drills, those guys do 7-on-7 with the defense, and Danny's been doing everything. There's been no holdbacks, and, I think, he's going to be 100% go for fall camp.
Right side, second row.
After sitting out last season, how tough was that? What was the most, that you learned from that? And then also, let's talk about changing your jersey number this year and how special that is.
Well, yeah, last year was very tough. It was something that, for me, that was, probably one of the worst years of my life, to be very honest. With that happening and then my family having the flood, it was something that kind of hit me really fast. I want to be out there with my teammates, but, have my doctors tell me there's nothing you can do. You feel hopeless. And, I'm back now 100%, being with Coach O and the staff he has, is very exciting. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to come back. Having Coach O as my defensive line coach for those years, I knew what he brought to the table, and I wanted to do that again. I didn't want to leave how I had it, and I wanted one more year with him, And then your second question was, I'm sorry, I forgot it. Yes. Yeah, it's very humbling, being in that, that group of those guys. Benny Logan, he wore 18 his last year, defensive tackle. He's always been a mentor for me, and when I found out he was one of the first people that actually, called me and texted me, being with those guys, talking to all the previous 18s, Tre'Davious White, one of my best friends, talking to him, those guys, it's very humbling, and I couldn't, I was like a kid on Christmas, to be very honest with you.
Front row here, left side.
I don't think it's me. You've had a chance to know Coach O probably a lot more than most of the guys on the team. So that being said, do you have an impersonation of him? And if not, who has the best one?
Oh, man. Yeah, I would say if you had to ask anybody on the team, it would be a defensive lineman because they were always around him. He had a get-off sign when he was a defensive line coach, and he'd come in and he'd be like, "Hey, baby, sack fumble, baby. Let's go. Hit the get-off sign." So I would say I'd probably be top 5 in the team. But I do know a guy that actually transferred in, Brandon Fehoko. He came from Texas Tech. He, by far, if you guys ever had a chance to interview him, it sounds like Coach O. I promise you.
Any other questions for left side, second row? I think we're going to go without the microphone now just because it's acting weird.
Well, I feel like, going into my 5th year now, I just feel like the team we have here, I've never been as close to. This is the closest team I feel like we've had. And the guys have bought into what Coach O and the staff have said. And having Coach O on the staff and everybody buying into, he's a guy that will motivate you day in and day out. Some days he's there, but, we have 7 a.m. workouts. He'll be up at 6 a.m. working out. And, just little things like that motivate you. And, we have a great conference, best conference in the country, and, the division we play in is very difficult, but we also understand the team we have, and, I feel like it's going to be a very special year for us.
And left side, third row.
I feel like both of them are very hard to tackle. It's just something that I think helped us out because, it prepared us for week in, week out. If I had to pick, I just think that Geis is, very elusive. I remember when he first came in, I missed a tackle on him. He's a guy that won't stop running, as Fournette will be. But I just think he's a guy that, he shift, move. Leonard's more downhill, and he can bruise you. You guys start to knock people over like nothing. And, Geis is a more shiftier guy. So I feel like, if I had to pick, it would probably be Darius.
I think we have time for maybe one more question. Anything else for Christian? All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.